On this episode of Kingdom Mogul Conversations, I sit down with CEO of Lone Star Catering, Maurice Wallace. He shares his journey to becoming a chef and business owner and what it takes to build an empire from the ground up. This and more on Kingdom Mogul Conversations. All right, Chef Maurice Wallace, man, thank you for being on our show.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man.
Appreciate you, man. I'm happy to have you here. So, how did you get into cooking?
It was by chance. It was God's will for me to get into this. I actually was at a vocational school and I had a choice to either take auto mechanics or foods. And I got in there and I fell in love with it. You know, it became a passion that I didn't know I had.
So, tell us about the journey from, you know, elementary Maurice to high school Maurice to now you're one of the most in-demand chefs in the city of Detroit.
It's all in the learning. It's all in just being out there and being willing to learn and absorb stuff from other people. You have to sometimes follow before you can lead. So I followed a lot of the chefs, you know, that taught me throughout my years, and I just gained a hunger and a passion for it. And now is more of like people pay me to play in the kitchen. You know, I don't look at it. It's not a job, or it's not something hard for me anymore. Like I live it, I breathe it. You know, I cook at home. You know, my kids cook. You know, with my catering service, I'm always teaching and finding out new and different things to just express myself. I express myself with my food. You know, I take my kids along with me on the journey. So, you know, teaching them values of ownership and business. So it's a never ending journey for me.
But you're not just a chef, you own your own business, your
Yeah.
own catering business,
Yeah.
and you're doing corporate events and live events. Tell us more about that. How did you come to own your own business?
Well, again, it came with working with other people. One of my old instructors, Renee King Jackson, is who I started with, and I started working for her. And I actually took over a piece of catering business for her. And you know, she kind of taught me the ins and outs of the business. And once I got a taste of the corporate side, I wanted more. So I started my own business, and
Just like that, just say, I'm gonna have my own business.
sometimes you just got to jump out there. You know, when you have the passion and desire for it, you have to make yourself a demand. You have to make people want you. You have to give them something to want.
How do you do that though?
Well, a lot of times I had to do stuff pro bono. You know, a lot of times I had to do. Sometimes I had to not make money. You know, I had to what we call now grind. I had to really grind and get out there and get my name out there. And once people knew who I was, then the demand came. So, you know, I used to work for different radio stations, you know, doing different album release parties for different entertainers. So an entertainer would come in, and for me to do it, I would get they would give me a stipend, and I would get my name blasted on the radio or, you know, at the particular event. But then I got to do something with Charlie Wilson, you know, so it was in a sense free, but it got my name out there. So, oh, you came for Charlie Wilson, you know. So it was things like that that kind of get you out there, and then once you get out there and your name get out there and people know you, you know, the sky's the limit. Then it's up to you to direct your path, and that's just what I did. I directed my own path, and not somebody directed the path for me.
Earlier, you were talking about your mentors in high school. How important is it for young people or older people for that matter to have mentors, people that can help guide them and direct them and lead them into the direction that they want to go?
It's critical. It's very critical. I'm 44 years old, and I have something called an accountability partner or slash mentor. So I am under submission, you know what I'm saying, to a couple of guys that I look up to, you know, for direction, because you could sometimes, you know, think you're doing something right and it not all the way be right, but you have that one person that can go, hey, chef, you need to, you know, steer yourself in the right. I'm pretty sure you have a mentor as well, you know, that you confide into and to help you and to help point you in the right direction. So it's very important. It's crucial, especially to to our younger kids, because a lot of them don't have anybody. They don't have maybe a mother or a father, or anybody, period. Some of them may be homeless. I deal with kids right now in school that are homeless. So, you have to approach them in a certain way, that they'll be able to receive you and accept direction from you. So, again, it's important. It's a must have for from young and old.
Who would you say is your ideal client?
My ideal client would be someone definitely who has, and it's not for me. It's not all financial.
But it's important though.
It's definitely important.
You got to feed your family.
Have to
You're
feed your
building a
family.
legacy.
Have to build a legacy. Um, I always say I'm not trying to get rich off of one event. I'm trying to get rich off of everybody that's there. You know,
What does that mean?
if I do a wedding, I'm gonna do the best job I can at the wedding. But I know it's going to be somebody that's there that's going to hire me to do one of their parties, and so forth and so on. So that's how I get business. I get business from, so if I did a party for you, I know it's going to be at least a few people there that's going to hire me to do a party because of the job that I did, and that's how I continuously get business. My business is word of mouth. My business is, I seen you at Brother Cole's party and I like what you did. Your staff was professional and I want to have that same experience. Because when I do business for you, it's not just me catering your function. It's an experience. I want you to have an experience with me. I want you to leave the function going, I'm glad I hired them, Lone Star Catering, to cater my function.
Let's talk about some of the hard times, some of the struggle and the rough times that Lone Star Catering has had over the years. Can you talk about some of those hard times you
It's always a drought. It's doing any type of business is always a downtime. And with catering, it's sporadic. The summertime, you think, it's wedding season, it's open house season for kids, it's graduations. Okay, then you got your winter seasons where it's Christmas time where people are trying to draw back and save up for that. But then again, you have office parties, so you have to continuously reinvent yourself. You have to make yourself, um, you have to make people want to hire you. You have to stay relevant. You have to always be places, where people of influence are at. So I try my best to stay around people of influence and people. If and a good mentor, one good mentor of mine always told me, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I try to keep myself in the midst of people that know way more people than I am, are far richer than I am. Not to say that I'm rich right now, but I try to keep myself into those groups.
Would you say that cooking and preparing food is a spiritual experience?
It can be.
Yeah. Can you
It
talk
can
about
be.
that?
It can be. Because it just like in church, when the pastor hears from God and he feeds you spirituality. It's the same thing with food. You put bad food into your body, bad things happen to your body. You put good food in your body, good things happen to your body. So what I try to do, but everybody doesn't want that, is feed healthy food, because it feeds to your it nurtures your body. But we got those people that they want greens and fat back and those type of things. But if you're my customer, I'm giving you what you want. But if you want my suggestions, I'll try to steer you towards something that's healthy and fun at the same time.
So you in that you're not just being a chef, you're like a nutritionist at the same time.
You have to be sometimes, because I get a lot of clients that don't know what they want. They have an idea of what they want, um, but I'm there to go, okay, you give me a budget, because I'm not in the business of trying to rob anybody. I work with you. So if you tell me my budget is $10,000, I say, okay, this is what I can create for you, with this budget, and I'll lay out these things, and they'll be healthy, they'll be good, you know, but I'll try to steer you in a direction that's more healthy, and then I'll give you a little that fat back on the side.
Like what are some of your success stories?
I just had a 50th birthday party from a referral. They never tasted my food. They never seen a presentation, but they hired me just from a client of mine, from a good friend of mine. and they were worried, which they should be, which they should have been. But I made them feel comfortable enough to trust me, that I was going to do right by them. And from people eat with their eyes first. You walk into a restaurant, you set the food down, and the first thing you're gonna do is look at it and go, this looks good or it doesn't look good. So for me, presentation is the first thing. So when you see a beautiful presentation, you have already set a standard for for the taste and for how the rest of the your event is going to go. So for me, once I hit you with the presentation, my food is already spot on, which I know. Sorry.
You got to be confident.
It
in
is.
your work,
I'm
man.
confident in what I do. I'm not one of them chefs that just cook and just hand it to you. I'm tasting through the whole process. And if I have some of my assistants there cooking, I need to taste that before it goes out. Because if I don't think it's good, the customer is definitely not gonna think it's good. So for me, it's a whole experience, and I want you to be totally satisfied, because at the end of the day, this is all about. It all comes back to Lone Star Catering, who owns Lone Star Catering, and I want my name and my brand to be a success story, not a failure.
So we're talking about all this eating and tasting. So we need to hit the kitchen.
We're gonna hit the kitchen. Okay, we're going to one of my friends' house who I've been knowing for the past 20 years. I cannot wait to cook in the kitchen. I have no idea what we're going to do. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. Going in the cabinets, going in the refrigerator, we're going to cook in the kitchen. Let's get to it.
Maurice, what are you doing here?
I'm about to cook in your kitchen.
Come on in.
Okay, beautiful kitchen.
Thank
Now
you.
we're in it. How can we get started?
Start right here in the refrigerator.
All right. All right. Okay. What else you got? Here? All right. All right. Where else we got?
And some seasonings.
Seasonings. Oh, look at all these seasonings up here. Do you even use all of this stuff?
When I see something on sale, I just grab it.
I see. So I've gone through your refrigerator. I've gone through your cabinets, and this is what I came up with. Okay, so I have some Special K red berries, cereal, eggs, some chicken thighs, whole potatoes in a can, butter, salt and pepper, garlic, kale, and rainbow salad. And we're gonna mix that with a little wine.
You're the chef. I know you can bring it all together. I have faith in you. But that little ounce of doubt, I need to see how you're going to bring it all together.
Let's get busy.
Let's get busy.
To prepare this meal, Chef Maurice and his celebrity guests cracked and whisked together a few eggs, sprinkled a salt and pepper mix into the egg wash, and crunched up a bowl of the berry cereal by hand to create a sweet and savory bread coating. Next, he seasoned the chicken thighs with salt and pepper, dipped them in the egg wash, and coated them with the cereal breading. Then he drained the canned potatoes and placed them in a saucepan of boiling water that he seasoned with garlic and butter. Because he's cooking in stages, the next step was to rough chop the kale and rainbow salad mix. After mixing the kale and salad mix in the bowl, he placed the coated chicken thighs into a hot pan for about 2 minutes per side to fry them and seal the flavoring. Then he placed them in the oven for about 20 minutes to finish cooking. Next, to speed up the process, he broke up the boiling potatoes to encourage them to soften. After about 5 minutes, they were ready to be mashed. Next, Chef Maurice sauteed and blanched the salad mixture and added his secret seasoning and a little wine to deglaze and add more flavoring.
All right, so here we have it. Your canned potatoes, your chicken thighs with your cereal, and your slaw mixed with kale.
I can't believe it. And I can't wait to taste it. I know it's just as delicious.
You can taste the
Sweet
berries.
from the cereal.
Mm-hmm.
You outdone yourself.
I'll drink to that.
I will drink to that
Some
and
of it.
eat to that too.
Right.